in happier, or are they, thoughts? Cow up a tree. Who doesn't love a cow up a tree? Provided it's not a real cow. In this case, it's not a real cow. So it's a happy story. Inherently, John Kelly is a sculptor. You know that, the one down by the Docklands Stadium, just near the water there. John Kelly is the bloke who gave us the cow up the tree at the Docklands. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Red.
I am told you have concerns, and if you have concerns, because I really like that cow, I have concerns.
Well, I do have concerns. Just a couple of years ago, they put a pop-up cafe there down in the Docklands, and they sited it right in front of the sculpture. So the sculpture cow up the tree is now blocked from the road, and from what I would suggest is the most important vantage point, looking at the water. So,
can you paint a picture for me? I see the cow as I drive along the road at what I would consider to be the back of the Docklands Stadium. This pop-up cafe is between the cow and the road. Is that right?
Well, it's only a few metres in front of the sculpture. If your listeners were to Google image cow up a tree, they would see that the thousands of tourists who have visited it have taken photos looking out to the water, essentially from the road view, with the Balti Bridge in the background.
Yeah.
And of course, the sculpture relates to water, so it's a significant part of the sculpture that it was placed by the water, and that could be seen in the context of the water. So what they've done is put the cafe, which just completely eradicates that. So for me as the artist, it undermines the sculpture significantly.
You're not reassured by the notion that it's a pop-up cafe and therefore logically would be a pop-down cafe at some time in the future?
Well, the definition of pop-up and temporary is something that we have been discussing, and it seems that the definition of pop-up can be for a significant time with no end date in sight.
Well, yes. If it goes really well, it won't be popping down anytime soon. That's the moral of the story.
Well, absolutely, because there you have it. So then you have a clash between art and culture and commerce, and in this case, it would seem that commerce overrides the culture and the art of Melbourne.
A question. What is the availability of images of cows up trees in the greater Melbourne area? How many opportunities do you have to see a cow up a tree in Melbourne?
One.
That's what I thought, just the one. Coffee. If you needed a coffee, are there many places you could go, do you think?
I can think of at least two.
Two? You're a creature of habit, aren't you? I'm fascinated by the philosophy behind the sculpture itself. It's related to water, you tell me.
Well, it's a bringing together of two narratives that are particularly Australian. One is floods and the image of a cow up a tree. If you Google that, you'll see some quite shocking images of cattle that's been caught in trees, especially recently in the Queensland floods. So it's significant. It appears in Patrick White's Tree of Man. Sidney Nolan painted a ram in a tree in 1955. And he, in a famous photograph, he placed a carcass of a horse in a tree when he was doing the Drought series.
I love this. We got footnotes and everything in this, haven't we?
We have. So my sculpture plays off that history, but it also brings together William Dobell and Joshua Smith and their work during the Second World War, where they were required to make paper mache cows and move them around on airstrips.
I'm sorry, go back.
Well, it was a camouflage scheme designed to fool Japanese airmen, and Dr. Edward McMahon was quoted as saying that Dobell had said that the authorities had underestimated the eyesight of the Japanese airmen. So it's one of those crazy World War II, what do we do with the artists? We put them in camouflage and they end up doing these crazy schemes. So there's humour, there's humour, there's history, and, it's a great narrative. And look, this sculpture has been very well received, not only here in Melbourne, but in Paris and in Glastonbury, at the Glastonbury Music Festival. The Kaiser Chiefs put it on their music video of the When the Heat Dies Down.
And what has the pop-up cafe done for us? What is it? Well, you could get a coffee there. I guess that's it, isn't it?
Well, according to Development Victoria, it's brought many more people to see my sculpture, which I'm absolutely thrilled. And I just want to emphasise, I have no problem with the cafe. Just move it 15 metres to the left and I'd be happy again.
Well, if its construction is such that it can be popped up, one would logically think it could be easily moved. Oh, good story. Thank you, John. John Kelly, sculptor, the man behind the cow up a tree at the Docklands.